Good morning, good afternoon, or whenever you're watching. Today I am going to go into town to do a bit more of my project, catch up with Warren Miller, possibly have a little chat about how each of us shoot, how Warren's now getting into street photography, and go from there. See how we get on. The weather's a bit mixed, not how I would like it, but it never is. So you pick a day to go and then you just go and you get what you're given. So we'll see how we get on. Always strange shooting this project. I keep forgetting what the project's all about, and it's actually just shooting anywhere I can get to on public transport, and I'm letting the public transport thing get inside my head, and I don't know why, because it's actually anywhere I can get to on my feet, on a bike, or on public transport. And some reason or another, every time I go out and beating myself up about what I'm going to shoot, and maybe it's a little bit too much of a wide gamut this time, but all I can do is keep going and going and going and see how we get on. But it is driving me nuts at the moment, I've got to tell you. I think also not shooting for so long and very intermittently, I have lost the ability to see and focus on a scene, compose the scene quickly, and do all that very, very fast. And part of learning street photography and learning everything there is about street photography is being able to have the knowledge and ability to quickly see and compose a scene and take the shot. Now, you don't have to get it spot on, because of course you can crop later on these days. At the end of the day, we used to crop back in the film days, but at the end of the day these days, you want to try and get it right. And I'm going to talk to Warren hopefully today about focusing, because some people zone focus, some people don't. I used to, I don't anymore. I used to zone focus all the time with film, and I don't overly zone focus anymore. There's a reason for that, and I've talked about that before on my blog. But zone focusing, it works. It works for a lot of people. And I know it sounds really stupid, it doesn't work for me, and considering it used to work for me all the time in film, I don't know why I don't do it, except it's a sharpness issue with me. And the way I edit, I prefer to have a really, really sharp subject and let everything else, I don't really care about. Sometimes I want back, front to back sharpness, sometimes I don't, but mostly I want the subject in focus. I'm quite interested to see how Warren, because he used to shoot film and now he shoots digital, I'm quite interested to see how he feels about it as well. But that's just some aspects of it. Actually getting to see something fast and grabbing the shot. Now, I'm not a sort of person that runs around and shoots 12,000 photographs a day. I just don't shoot like that. I like to see something and grab the shot, almost like, I don't know, hard to explain, symbiotically or something like that. I don't really know the name of the word for it, but I like to see a subject, get it in focus, in a frame, and sort of get it right. This is not about getting it right in camera, it's about getting it right and focusing properly. It's a very difficult thing to explain because it goes on in my head. But if I see something, so let's give it an example. Say I see a poster and I think someone will work really well with it, and someone immediately walks into frame, I'm usually ready for it. A lot of the time it's the wrong person or the wrong subject, and so you have to wait for the right subject to walk into that frame. And when you actually see a poster and then you see someone coming and you make it work, that's a completely different ball game to just seeing something as it occurs and as it happens and grabbing that shot. And you may get that shot, you may not, and it may be a shot that you'll only get once in your lifetime. And I think I look for that. And one of the magics that used to be about film photography is you go and get all these photographs, say 36 exposures on a roll, and then you wait until the rolls you wait until you expose that roll, and then you see what you've got, and that's quite magical. And the way I shoot, in a way, is the same. I don't know whether I've actually got it or not, and I don't check. I don't what they used to call chimping, but I don't overly check a lot. The things I check throughout the day are, am I in focus? Is my exposure correct? And things like that. I don't really worry about the rest. And I wait until I get back and I see what I've got. I delete all the shit before I even go any further, and then I move on from there. I haven't got anything brilliant lately because I'm not shooting enough. But hopefully over the next year I will start to get back to how I was. and that was super fast. And I used to see something and chase it down the road and get it. I've seen Naomi Strachan run down the road in Glasgow and Edinburgh just to get that one shot, and I used to be exactly the same. I'm not like that anymore. I'm a bit slower, and I'm more on the lookout for stuff, and I don't overly get the shots I see, and I have to progress and get better and better and better. So I promised you I'd take you on this journey, and it may be a bit of a jumbled head full of information at time and lots of me just talking, but I want you to understand how it is, because it's not just easy. I'm not going to go to town today and come back with 50 bangers, as some people will call them. I may come back with one shot that's okay, and it may take me this whole year to get one amazing shot, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about when this is all over at the end. So, oh, made it into town, caught up with Warren, had a nice coffee, put the world to rights, talked about every illness there is to come that was wrong with Matt. I was saying to Warren how I do not zone focus. How do you actually shoot these days, Warren?
Well, I mean, for gigs, I don't zone focus anyway, but when I'm out and about, just walking around town, I don't zone focus. And again, I just use normal autofocus, shutter speed priority. We might set to 250 per second at the moment. Aperture's on auto. I'm getting used to looking at the screen. Lucky enough with this tilt screen on the Fuji X100, I can just shoot from the end and look at the screen. So, and I've also got used to the joystick on the back, just moving that round and click away. So no, I don't use zone focus.
How do you find the X100V now? You've waited 20 years for it.
It's a lovely little camera. It's a lovely little carry-around camera. I mean, I used to have the T as well, which was just as good. But that didn't have the joystick on the back, which helps with the sort of focus that I use anyway. So I can just move that around. I can see it on the screen. I can tilt the screen towards me. I can see it moving on the screen and just snap away when I need to take a photograph. That works for me. But I mean, focusing methods, whatever works best.
I think that's exactly it. I think a lot of people are so caught up on do it like this or do it like that, and I think it's exactly what works for you is the most important thing.
I think what they see it on YouTube, the way some, I mean, I'll say street photographers use zone focus and think that's what I've got to use. It's not what you've got to use. What you've got to use is what works best for you.
Yeah.
And I find that works best for me. And if whatever works best for you, use it and shoot away. As long as you're getting pictures,
it's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. Go on then.
So there's a woman coming up the stairs, so just focus on that top stair there. Wait till she's in frame. Shoot. You've just got the arm and those other lads. But those lads will be good as well. There you go. Oh, dog. Kiss. Nice. Yeah, I got that a bit late, but
just one question, Warren. I've been thinking about it. You started doing a lot of street photography lately and not so much gig photography. What's the reason for that?
I've always liked street photography. I don't consider myself a street photographer, but I've always liked doing it. I mean, from our days of going out on photo walks, I've always enjoyed doing it. But I've sort of lost a little bit of motivation for gig photography now. I think probably because I've been doing it so long.
Yeah.
So I've just been going out, jumping on trains and doing street photography.
Doing what I should be doing.
Doing what you should be doing. But you will be doing it eventually.
You've actually given me confidence today to
That's good.
Go out, jump on trains and start doing some more, and hopefully we can do something together as well.
It's the best way to do it, especially at my age now with having a senior rail pass. I just jump on a train, go to a city and take
That's
some
why
photographs.
I'm trying to do travel pass as my project. It's I think the thing you're saying is very interesting there. Once you've done photography of a certain genre for so many years or so much time, you want to change and do something different, don't you? I do.
Because I mean, as you know, I started off with a studio, my own studio, so I used to do a lot of portraits and model portfolios, etc. I got a bit fed up with that and turned into music photography, which I've been doing for quite a while now, and I still enjoy doing it, but I enjoy doing it for myself now rather than for a magazine or for a publication. I enjoy going to a gig and not having the pressure of taking photographs for a magazine, just for myself really. And now with street photography, I can do that. They're not for a magazine, they're not for publication, they're for myself.
I think that's the thing that I like about street photography is you shoot for yourself.
Exactly.
You shoot what you want when you want. We've just been out today.
Yeah.
We've been around town. We've had a nice couple of coffees. We've had a really long chat because we haven't seen each other for a while. And I've probably got 15, 20 shots, maybe if that.
Yeah, I think
and I don't know whether any of them are great, and I don't really care. But I think you've got the best one, and we'll put that online later. We won't talk
we'll
about
see
that.
that later.
Yeah, we'll see that later. Well, we better get a train and get home then.
Yep.
See you next time.
It's been great, Matt. Thanks.
See you later, mate. What a difference a day makes. After a really nice day walking around town with Warren yesterday, I got 2 shots, which I'll actually show in this video. I put them on Instagram. One of them's a bit of a weird crop, but the reason I've weird cropped it is because it's for my personal project. So the crop I really want will actually be in my project and not online. I just do that sometimes, so it's a bit unique to me. Saves a watermark and everything else. So I keep the original for me and I use different crops online. But today I'm just going to discuss, when I get out of this rain and get home, I'm going to sit and just discuss what happened yesterday. I will probably get this video online today. Not that you lot need to know that, because you don't know what day I'm doing this. But just waiting for a few photographs from Warren. And I'm going to just reprocess my ones because they got to be 16 by 9 for this video. Anyway, enjoy the rain if you're out today, and I'll catch you all in a minute. Well, that's it, back in the warm, out of the rain. I absolutely got soaked this morning. I haven't got that wet for about 18 months, if not longer. It's really weird. When I actually walk every day and walk most mornings, it hardly ever rains. It doesn't rain that consistently with that much wind. It rained so much that water ran down my legs and into my boots. It ran down my back and well, down through my pants, down my legs, into my boots. I was absolutely drenched when I got back. Anyway, the last 3 photographs you've just seen. The first one was an iPhone photograph of a doll or a toy in Liverpool one. I couldn't really make anything of it, but I just liked the fact it was there, so I took a photograph and I added it in this video just for the hell of it. And the other 2 shots, there was a photograph of a guy almost looking at me on a train window. And I've cropped it as a weird crop. And as I've said previously, the reason I do weird crops sometimes is A, because I use 16 by 9 for videos, and B, because I crop things differently to when I use them in my projects. And also it's very helpful if you find an image of yours online that's been stolen, and you know what crop you use for where you output it to. It's very interesting to see where it's getting nicked from, basically. I don't use watermarks. I always think they distract from an image. Even though sometimes the crops distract from an image, sometimes it's interesting to put a different crop online to see how people feel about it. I know how I feel about it. The one with the actual train window, it's slightly out of balance. I don't like the one I've used online. I may change it, I may not. I'll just see how I feel about it. And the one I use for my book will actually be the proper crop. And the other one was the girl in the Cafe Nero coffee shop window, which I just leave as it is, and I will use a slightly different crop. As I say, 16 by 9 they are for this video, and they're 16 by 9 for Instagram as well. As always, the images will be on Instagram. The doll one won't be because it's colour, and I'm trying to keep my Instagram black and white. We had a good day out with Warren. I must apologise for the wind noise. I've actually edited it slightly. So on Warren's video where he's actually talking about how he shoots, it's a bit of a muffled noise. I will correct that in the future, but I wasn't expecting the weather to be as it was yesterday, and it's obviously, I'm glad it didn't go out today. Anyway, we had a good day out. I think some of the video is self-explanatory. It explains how Warren shoots, and it's exactly how I shoot. Waist level, looking into a viewfinder, set my camera up to my settings, and I go out and I use autofocus. If I'm a little bit concerned about where the subject is, I will also focus first of all on the pavement or on a lamppost near to where the subject's going to be, and as the subject moves into focus, I'll move the focus point to them, either with the joystick or just by moving the camera. And if I am not too sure, I will knock the autofocus focus point up or sideways to where I think the subject will be in the frame next time I shoot. I usually try and keep the focus point above the center line on the camera screen, and that means basically it usually hits them on the head and will focus perfectly. I don't zone focus. As I said, I used to use zone focus when I shot film, and I used to like focus on the pavement and wait for the subject to walk into frame, etc. You know, if you set it at about f8, everything's in focus, but I like a little bit more sharpness, and as Warren said, he's exactly the same. And at the end of the day, about focusing, you've got to focus how you feel it works for you. Now, a lot of people, you see a lot of people zone focusing, and you know, you can talk about Cartier-Bresson and the way they shoot film, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, you've got to shoot what works for you, and you've got to focus and set your camera up exactly how you want to set it up. I shoot on a reasonably bright day, 500th of a second, round about f4, and I sort of muck around with shutter speed and everything else. I technically shoot shutter priority, but that can change to aperture priority, and sometimes I'm almost shooting manual and I just fiddle around as I go, to be honest with you. It depends where I am, what country I'm in, what the lighting's like, what the circumstances are. One of the discussions I had with Warren was how slow I've got compared with how fast I used to be. And that will come back. The most important thing is getting out there. And I got out there with Warren, and that's a start. And we've actually got some ideas in our heads for other places we'll go together. Help to get back my confidence for going out and shooting. The problem is with this stupid brain damage and this anxiety from my stroke is I took myself out of going out so many times. But yesterday was a good day. Yes, I've got 2 photographs. I think I said at the beginning of the video, I don't know how many I'll shoot, and I said with Warren I've shot 15, 16, I think it was, and that ended up with 2 images actually on my camera and 1 image on my phone. Oh, and the portrait image of Warren, which you can look at on Instagram, that I shot in Caf Nero, I think it was. Anyway, just an insight this is to a day out with Warren, really, and what we did. And the images are on Instagram on here, and I'll put Warren's link to his Instagram below, and you can look at his gig photography. And hopefully in the future I'll shoot some more. It won't be so windy, I'll get better sound, and I'll add that on here as well. So just an update. Take care, see you on the next video.